you so much for joining us. This is Meet Music Knoxville. It's the show where I, your host, Nick Horner, meet people from the Knoxville music community that I didn't know. It's totally cold. It's totally on the spot. We're having a good time. I'm super excited today. We are doing a remote episode of Meet Music Knoxville. We are at the Clayton Performing Arts Center, CPAC, here at Pellessippi State. Keith Brown Trio just played. I've got Keith here today, and it's really excited to commence this interview. But before I do, we have to do some thank yous. Raven Records and Rarities, Hutch and Howard of Keller Williams. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for contributing to Real Knoxville Music. We could not do this without you. That being said, if you or someone at home has some extra money and they want to support a local radio station, you can always give your money to Real Knoxville Music. It's always greatly appreciated. Anyway, enough of that pandering. I'm stoked. I just saw a great jazz concert, Keith Brown Trio. Keith, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
yeah. And you know what's funny? It's like we usually when we get people together, it's in the Real Knoxville studio, Real Knoxville Music Studio, which is in Chris's garage right now. And so people come in like a little lost and whatever. And we got you here in this beautiful facility after playing a show, which is like, it's a totally different vibe, you know?
Cool.
You know, and
yeah.
I have to say, well, okay, so let me get, because I don't get to do this a lot on the air. Man, you just had this performance, 8 tunes, some of your original stuff, some great standards, and a Michael Jackson cover. It was good vibe, good feel. But how do you feel about it, stepping off the stage?
I feel good. I feel like I'm still, just coming down. We took that little stroll over here, so catching my breath a little bit from that and from the walk. So, but it feels good. It was fun. The audience had good energy and stuff. So it was nice.
It definitely felt like the audience was with you guys.
Yeah,
which is good. And I mean, that's the thing. A Michael Jackson song, like you can't go wrong. Doesn't matter what the audience is. It's like
right.
Yeah. Man, when you are on stage and you get off stage, what is that experience like for you? Generally speaking, when you step off stage from a show.
Oh, like I said, I mean, for the most part, it's just like taking a quick second to just bring yourself down, because it's like while you're in it, you're in it, and the energy is gone and stuff. So you have to maybe step off the stage and take 2 or 3 minutes, just go somewhere and sit for a second. If you can, at least for me, some people, but I'm kind of a chill guy. Off of the stage. On stage, I like to go for it.
Yeah.
Off the stage, sometimes I have to take a second and lay back and chill. So, but yeah, and then it's nice, especially like I said, when there's a great audience that you feel is with you. It makes you feel good. If people feel like they got something, for their soul.
Yeah.
From it, you know what I mean?
Do you have like a favorite type of venue to play that you find your music that it allows you to sort of get to that place you're looking for, like a smaller, intimate venue or larger center, or what?
I would say typically I like a smaller ish venue, because you can really get out, look out and see people and have a little bit more connection with what's going on.
Yeah, how about it? Now, man, you're back in Knoxville. I think you said to Chris earlier you're playing another show?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you here in town, or are you hitting someplace on the way back?
It's in town. Yeah,
oh, cool.
Yeah,
Where are you playing?
Yeah, it's at the Concourse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
cool.
I've been out of Knoxville for the last 5 years.
5 years,
we were talking, so I haven't been there yet. But I heard it's a pretty nice venue. So I guess that's the official CD release party for Knoxville. It's Saturday at the Concourse.
Yeah. Man, we gotta make sure we plug that on. Yeah, I'm telling you, Chris, you're off mic, but he's nodding aggressively. He's like, "Yes, we have to do that." And man, the tunes off the record are really beautiful. The ones that I heard today, man, I definitely heard some things in your music, but I'm curious who are the composers that you find yourself drawing from the most? Is it like people in jazz? Is it people in R&B, pop? Is it who are the people that inspire you the most?
I'd have to say just all of it.
Yeah,
really.
what you like, yeah.
And I know that's kind of the cliche thing to say, but it's true. I feel like we just did a so-called jazz concert, but I was just talking to the other guys in the band backstage before, just hanging, and I was telling them, one of the biggest blueprints for any music I write is Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
But it's like when you listen to his music, it's R&B, but it's like there's jazz stuff, there's Latin stuff, it's like it's everywhere. So, someone like Stevie, of course, Duke Ellington, Wayne Shorter, a lot of different great composers from different genres. My father, he's a pianist, composer as well. So I've gotten a lot from him. And I feel like just, I guess the standard answer is any good music is what I'm drawn from.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I heard Duke Ellington, the last one. It had some Money Jungle vibes to it. That Caravan, famous Caravan recording I was thinking about. And also, man, I heard a ton in one of your original tunes. Yeah, it was Truth and Comfort.
Okay, yeah.
Man, I love that tune. I'm a huge Chick Corea fan.
Oh, cool,
and to me, it's like I heard a lot of that, like very rhythmic, that sort of like that that 6 feel kind of stuff. Man, just and a gorgeous composition at that.
Man, thanks.
Yeah.
So and it's one of those things that
everyone's gonna find their own.
Yeah, it's like I can't say that I was thinking about Chick Corea when I came up with the tune, but I've listened to so much Chick Corea that it's like it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of that stuff is like you can hear different things. But every time we play that, the bassist Desra, and he always says the melody on some of it sounds like it's just like some R&B, like some Jodeci or something. So it's like those little different elements that you just place in it, and it becomes you. And everybody has their own way of putting that into certain things that I hear in Stevie Wonder or Duke Ellington. Someone else may not catch, but what they're catching is what makes their sound them. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, dude. And I, just going to your guys in the band, man, like a beautiful ensemble. It was cool because and you have to excuse me, I missed it's Desmond, right?
Desron.
Desron.
Yes.
On bass, just so insightful.
Yeah.
And Bean, is that?
Yeah,
that's his nickname, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, just really killing parts and playful, and a really I loved. There were so many like points with the two of them phrasing through a lot of those lines. It really got me thinking, man. Like, do you have a philosophy for building a band around your stuff, or are there certain types of players you're drawn toward?
Yeah, I mean, I think the natural thing, just like even in regular life and conversations, you just, certain people that have similar things to you that just kind of draw you. I mean, sometimes someone totally opposite to you draw you for different reasons. Yeah. But a lot of times you kind of drawn to people who I feel like with Desron and Bean and, other people that I play with, when we talk music, we have a lot of the same insights on music and even life at that. But specifically music, a lot of the same insights, same loves, but maybe, we love R&B, but maybe there's certain R&B artists that I'm a little more into and certain ones that Desron's a little bit into, but it's like there's still a common thing. So I think within that, it's like my music is jazz, but I feel like if you don't know something about R&B, you're not going to quite interpret it the way I'm hearing it. You know what I mean? If you're just strictly play jazz, you're not going to be, have insight into where certain things are coming from. You know what I mean? So I try to find just people who have a vast musical library themselves, you know what I mean? And come from similar places that I'm trying to come from within my music.
Yeah. Man, what was the tune? I wrote it. So I'm trying not to look at I'm trying to keep the conversation going, but I just it's compulsive from college. I go to a jazz concert and I want to write, scribble things down. Oh yeah, the To Be Loved that you did today,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
There was a moment in that when your left hand, like, you just really rode this pocket like so perfectly of like, you know, like halfway between that swung straight thing, and it was, I don't know what it was. It was, man, and maybe it was the way it was like framed orchestrationally in the room, but man, like that was the moment for me of the night. I was like,
Right.
oh, this is what this guy's about, you know, and it just really beautiful, like, rhythmic and feel interplays tonight, and so it's cool to watch.
Oh,
that's all. Just
okay.
Throwing you some compliments, dude.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah, man. Man, so you know, let's go back. So we mentioned this a little bit in the elevator. I just moved to Knoxville less than a year ago.
Oh, okay.
Amidst the pandemic, you know, so I'm still learning a lot about the city and the various scenes and things like that. And speaking of which, is that your dynastic jazz family here, you know, it's like a lot of similar names too, which is just total like, but man, tell me about that. Like, what was your process like getting into music and the family dynamic and,
Okay, so my father, as I mentioned, my father's Donald Brown. He's a pianist, composer, where he played with a lot of the jazz greats like, you know, Art Blakey and
yeah.
Freddie Hubbard, and I mean, I'll stop there because it's
Yeah,
it's a slew of them. So we'll stop there. But yeah, so you know, I've always been around the music, me and my siblings, but you know, when I was young, I was into music, but I wasn't into like jazz and actually playing music. Me and my brothers, we were more into like rapping and creating hip hop and stuff. But we always took like piano lessons and stuff. So I actually played basketball all through middle school and high school. So that was my thing. And it was finally after I got out of high school that I was like, you know, I kind of want to explore playing the piano, you know, because I always played, but never like seriously, you know, just enough to, you know, make my hip hop tracks, you know, to give myself something to rap on. It's like, I don't need to play too good, you know, just something to make some tracks with. But yeah, so that was when I finally started to really take music a little bit more serious or whatever.
who were the rappers that you were first drawn to?
Oh man. First drawn to?
Yeah, first drawn to.
Okay, so we're going all the way back.
Yeah, let's
there.
go all the way back.
The first group that I like really remember being drawn to was NWA, man.
Yeah.
I just used to love the all black, the LA Kings hats and all that stuff, man. That was But obviously, you know, I love like the Biz Markie and Chubb Rock and you know, once I really started listening to it, it was just, you know, whatever was going on at the time. I mean, but you know, I'm feeling old, but that was many years ago. But then as I was older, you know, I say Outkast was like one of my biggest influences, you know, and I think that goes way beyond rapping, you know, even this, you know, when their music, Outkast and you have to forgive me, my mind is space. You know, Tribe Called Quest, you know, some of the,
oh my
musically,
gosh,
so some of those things, man, they even now that has stuck with me. But you know, but I think that even I love Andre 3000, man, the way he raps,
Dude.
and I feel like just rhythmically that stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I may not think about it as I'm doing, I feel like there's some of those things that's, you know, just in your soul that is there as I'm writing, playing, whatever. Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah, man. What's the one? Shoot. Channel Orange. What's the Frank Ocean, man. What's the track that do you know what I'm talking about? So I was about to nerd out on Andre 3000 on that one.
That's I know. I'm not as familiar with that one, but I do know what you're talking about. But yeah,
man, and so playful. He brings a lot of that. Yeah. I mean, which is and that I do hear that's one of the notes I put down somewhere on this page is that there's just something incredibly playful and you know, even though you're going for it on stage, there is that element there. I see.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Right. Yeah. Cool. I mean, I feel like there's always, I can't say try to have it there, but I'm always happy that it's there because I feel like it's music. Life is serious enough. Yeah. when you get on stage, like the music is serious, you want it to be right, but if there's not some joy in it, it's not for me. If we get on stage and like everyone's too serious, I mean, I'll do it because I'm gonna have fun myself. But That's not necessarily the type of situation I would want for my personal band. You know, I want people who's gonna, you know, we can look up. Mistakes happen, but you know, as long as not too many mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen, but you can look up and, you know, just keep it moving and still be having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. I love that. When, man, so do you envision, I'll be honest. I mean, I listened to some of your so we figured this out yesterday. Chris was like, hey man, you know, it's like, you got to try to make this interview happen. 'Cause it'll be awesome. And, you know, it's like, I went to Spotify and I checked out, you know, your stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay, I dig this stuff. I didn't hear any hip hop on there. And I'm curious, like for you as someone who spent legit time, like, do you envision a world where you come back to, you know, rapping like on record?
Me, myself rapping,
or
having somebody else do it?
You yourself.
I might envision a time where I have someone else rapping on. You know, my brothers, they always, especially not my oldest brother, but the one right above me. He's always talking to me and some of my friends. Man, we need to get back together and do this. And I'd be like, man, I wouldn't even know what to rap about, man. I don't rap about some flat 9 chords. Yeah. You know, by me, but it's,
yeah.
I feel like it's a thing, you know, whatever genre, all that stuff you're in, it's like there's a lifestyle and, you know, I mean, and
totally.
It's various within that lifestyle. But, you know, there's a whole thing and attitude behind that that music that it's like, I still enjoy listening to some stuff here and there, but it's like, I can accept that I don't need to be rapping anymore. I mean, and there's nothing wrong, you know, if you love it, that's cool. I just don't need to.
Well, it's funny to listen. It's funny to listen to like Eminem, you know, go back and rap because Eminem will always be an incredible rapper,
right.
But it's not. It's never going to have that same thing as he, you know, or it reminds me of the Tupac thing that Kendrick did on the end of To Pimp a Butterfly, where he's like talking about how it's like, you know, it's like you don't see that after 29, you don't see guys out, you know, rioting in the streets, you know, and it's kind of true. It's like rap really requires that, like, you know, that masculine, well, I don't want to say masculine, but it requires that thing, that youth and vitality for it to really be the thing that I think the art form is meant to be.
Right, yeah. I mean, I've always been a chill dude, but I mean, I was a little more of that in my younger days. But yeah, now it's like, man, you know, if I'm not doing something, I'm just want to be at home or doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. I mean, it's cool. Like I said, I definitely no knock because I still, you know, love it. I just don't call me to rap on your project.
You heard him, folks. He is out of commission. But okay, well, cool. What are some of the things, you know, in your musical lexicon that we might not know? You know what I mean? I'm curious if there's like tangents that you go on listening wise or things that you've fallen in love with that sort of fall outside of what I as a listener and the audience might interpret. Are you a rabbit hole listener? Do you get on YouTube and just like, you know, see where it goes?
I'm not, man. You know, I've tried to, you know, one thing, I'm the type of person who I like to kind of get on certain things and sit with them for a while. You know what I mean? I went to a store or something to buy my wife a purse or something like that, man. I turned in the corner. It's like a million. It's like one section is like had like 10 purses. I was like, okay, cool. Let me check this out. I turned the corner. It was like a million purses right there. Totally overwhelmed, man. It's like, nah, I don't need that many options at once, man. You know, so it's like, you know, I try to, you know, get through some music, but I'm the type of person, because I feel like I want it to stick with me. You know what I mean? Especially if I might go through some different things, you know, do a little bit of what you're saying, but not too much. Because if I get something that is kind of like, oh, this is interesting, let me kind of go down this specific thing for a second and see what this is. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of to find something to hold on to, as opposed to just listening to a bunch of stuff that I'm not even going to remember what I listened to in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? But that's
totally. Well, instead of talking about YouTube, let's talk about this. Man, like, I love that moment that you had where you're talking about, which one was it? I'm trying to go back to this thing. I'm gonna forget it. I'm not gonna remember the exact moment that it was. I wanted to reference it because it was like a moving thing where you're addressing the audience, and lyrics, like lyrics to these songs. You know, you're talking about. I was thinking about it in the Michael Jackson tune when it was like, man, like how conscious are you of playing to the lyrics when you're on stage? Like, that's obviously it's a big part of Michael Jackson's work. It's a big part of playing any of the songs in the jazz catalog. But like, where do you fall with that when you're performing live?
I try to.
It's all good, man. I had some tuna steaks earlier. I'm afraid they were kind of raw. We'll see what happens.
Well, just I need to step. Nah. But
I told you this was a casual interview. I don't know that I told you that. Hopefully, Chris told you that.
No, I love it, man, because we can just sit here and chill, man. It doesn't have to be too.
Yeah.
When
you got to the seventh bar, I couldn't help but notice that.
Yeah. Now I have no clue what I'm supposed to be answering.
Oh, like lyrics, like
lyrics.
Man,
yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. I think I try to know the lyrics to a lot of the songs that I do, and if I don't know all the lyrics, I feel like at the very least I know enough of the lyrics to really have an understanding of what the song is about.
Yeah.
But but with some songs I feel like I've listened to them enough that I wasn't trying to learn the lyrics. I know the lyrics because I've been listening to the song, but I think that it's a very important thing. I feel like the only thing that would really draw me away from the piano is if I could really sing, because I feel like, I feel like that's so just the voice is like the most thing that you can be connected to, and then the lyrics are so important to any song. I feel like if you play, the Michael Jackson tune that we did, you play that, what means something to people is that they know what that song is, what it's about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some people who may not know what is it, the To Be Loved, the Jackie Wilson tune we played. I feel like if you do know the lyrics, then you really get a sense of, even without the lyrics, you know what that song is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I think especially if you play instrumental music and you're playing a cover tune, I feel like you can't really play the song if you don't know the lyrics.
But there's also this thing that happens where it's like, and I can say this as a singer, as I mentioned before, it's like the lyrics do this thing where they do lock down what the melody means.
Right.
And when you're an instrumentalist, and especially one as capable as you can certainly, besides the title, like, a song can take on a million different meanings.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I guess you're right. Yeah, and that's the other side, too, is that you do get with everybody individually. And I think, like I said, I was talking about a little bit when I was talking about the Jackie Wilson tune, with everybody individually, anything can have a certain meaning. And you're right, with the lyrics, it can kind of lock you into what the composer's meaning was, which is cool because that's what you want to get across. But without the lyrics, it kind of opens you up to what it is for you. Like you said, I mean, to be loved, you may not be talking about your girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever. You may be talking about your sister or, your mother, just that type of love that brings it into a different thing for that individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's funny. It's like going back to the jazz catalog. It's like there's so many great lyrics, but every now and then you find one that just flops.
Yeah.
And then and that's when you look up the instrumental versions.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I do. Yeah. Man. What man, so talk to me about this record that you did. Where did you record it?
We recorded at the Samurai Studios in Queens, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah.
There we go, back on the island.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, man. I believe it was this is 22 we're in. Mm-hmm. So we recorded in like October or December of 2019.
Just before the pandemic. Right? That's before the pandemic. 2019.
No, so it must have been 20.
2020. Okay, during.
Yeah, it was during. Yeah, so it was 20. Yeah, so and it came out in May of 21.
So wait, and so the record release that it's about to happen, well, in past tense, by the time they listen to this interview that you all missed. Shame on you. But the is for this record.
Yeah, and it was, I guess, with the pandemic, it's like had some things scheduled that didn't happen, and this so it's kind of like it's late because at this point it's approaching a year to when it was actually released.
Yeah,
but hey.
Yeah. Totally. Dude, the rules on this stuff are out the window now with this pandemic.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, it is what it is.
I didn't mean no judgment.
No, man. How dare you talk about it? Yeah.
Well, cool. That's awesome. The where I'm just trying now in my head. I'm trying to like find it in Queens. Where in Queens was it?
Now that I'm not as familiar with Queens,
it's very confusing.
Yeah.
Well,
it's GPS.
Yeah. Did you play keyboards on it too, or was it?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of some Rhodes and synths stuff on it. So.
Yeah. Do you like Rhodes? I mean, it's hard to not like Rhodes. But,
I mean, I love it. Like I said, I actually we kind of got into a groove with some certain stuff. I meant to play some other stuff on my keyboard, but on the Rhodes thing, and just kind of in, and I just went with what the feeling felt like.
Yeah.
But on my last couple of recordings, I've done some Rhodes and synth stuff, and just whatever the music calls for. But I mean, can't go wrong with a good Rhodes sound.
When you're writing at home, or wherever you end up writing, like do you go to the piano? Are you writing in your head? Are you like how's that process work for you?
It's a little bit of all of that. Sometimes I notice for me, a lot of times if I sit down and be like, I'm gonna write a tune, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you never come. But if I'm just like, maybe practicing some ideas, or hey, I like this chord voicing or something. I like playing this like this. And then that kind of starts saying, this melody sounds good on this chord. And then you start hearing sometimes, you're walking around the house and that melody or the chord progression or drum groove pops in your head, and that becomes the catalyst for whatever you're writing. So I'm not very successful at just saying I'm going to write, but, or if I'm sitting down just listening to music, learning somebody else's music, sometimes it's like, okay, that was a nice thing they did, and you start messing with it to see how you can make it yours, and that becomes a whole nother thing.
Yeah. And man, do you have do you keep a routine, like a practice routine, or is there like an approach that you have sort of at home, or is it just as it comes?
Man, I try to keep some type of practice routine, as much as I can sit down, and I feel like at the very least if I can do some kind of scale warm up stuff, just if I know I gotta play just some things to kind of keep my hands going and loose, but other than sometimes I'll skip that and I'll just say I'm just gonna sit down and maybe I don't feel like doing the warm up. I'm just gonna sit down and play some tunes. I don't have as much time to practice, so I'll just skip that and just play. I feel like all of that is practice to me, because I feel like, you sit down and play and then you hear this, oh man, you maybe accidentally stumble upon something, and, so I try to touch the piano in some form every day if I can.
Yeah. I like that. And what's cool is that sort of in the way you're talking about it, it's like you get to sort of like practice perform. Because so much of the jazz thing is like just letting it go off in these directions. So yeah.
I mean, and that's one of those things that it's hard. So many people like, how do you practice improvising? Because I mean, but I think that it's just that you have to practice improvising. It's if you're gonna play, sometimes don't start and stop too much. It's like play like you're playing, because when you're up there, it's improvised. You can't, oh man, let me go back and fix. Nah. It's like practice like it's performance. I mean, same old stuff. Practice like you're performing, but practice improvise and see what you can create in that moment without going back to correct it too much. You know what I mean? Just whatever it is what it is.
Yeah. What? I'm sorry if I'm darting around too much. I'm just like it. You're between what what we saw down there, and then my like associations with stuff. It's like my mind is going a million places.
Oh no, mine is too. So this is perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask this: what are your passions outside of the piano these days? How do you spend your time? What's kind of like the world that you exist in, and how do you feel that informs your music, or does it not? Is it like a totally separate thing?
No, it definitely does. I would say for the most part, I spend some time reading, just finding different books, reading some music books, biographies and stuff.
Yeah.
I was recently just started a John Coltrane biography.
Which one?
I will have to look that
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine. But yeah, like I said, I just got into it and I can't remember, but I just got into that and different, philosophy type books, just things to, start think, just see how other people see
the world,
life.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's one thing that I can't say it's a hobby or something, but that just in my life I've been trying to, really, meeting people, talking to people, just getting a better sense of
the world
of life. Yeah. Seeing how other people do it, because you start to realize that, a lot of times you're talking about your experience and you don't realize that your experience is like this small. You talk, oh, well, I don't know nobody who does that. Well, how many people do you know? Probably like, you don't really know that many people when you start to think about how many people you really know. It's like, people that you pass by and work with and this, that, and the other, but you don't know that many people a lot of times. You know what I mean? So yeah, just kind of, it's been interesting just really getting into some of those things a little bit more in life.
Were you into that stuff when you were here in Knoxville, or is this like a more the philosophy kind of stuff?
No, this is a more recent thing, I mean, the music stuff, of course, all of that. But yeah, I mean, I think that just the more that I've really got to, just travel and meet people and stuff, and and I think one thing, just myself, I have always been kind of a more reserved type of person. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to come up and talk to you, but if you come talk to me, I'll talk to you, you know what I mean? But, so I've been standoffish in that sense, but yeah, just being forced. I mean, it's like living in New York, there's only so much standoffish you can be. It's like, if you want something, you gotta, you gotta do it. So that definitely changed a lot for me. It's like the time to be reserved was done, you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, so it's definitely a more recent thing for me. Yeah.
And which is fascinating to me, because of course you think of philosophy and this, introversion, and of course understanding people, and then New York, which is the epitome of extroversion, in certain ways. And has that changed your approach, being in New York, or these texts? Like, in what ways do you feel your music has changed through that stuff?
I definitely think it's changed somewhat, and like I said, I mean, some of it is just the effect of being around different people. You go out, and I feel like, it's like there's so many people in New York that you just walk in some bar and there's some pianist that you never heard of who's just absolutely amazing. Yeah. You know what I mean? It makes you want to go quit, but not quit, but yeah, I mean, you can't help but that have an influence on you. So it's definitely changed some, but I can say a friend, mentor of mine, actually the guy who's playing on the record, the drummer Terry Gully, one thing he told me before I moved to New York, that now that I'm in it, I really appreciate it. He said, go up there, immerse yourself in the music, learn from different people, all of that, but don't lose the stuff that is yours, that makes you. You know what I mean? Because I feel like some of it is, I grew up here in Knoxville, and it's a more, some places have more of a heady approach to music and stuff. I feel like in the South there is, I'm originally from Memphis, you know, so between my pops, that blues and soulful thing was passed on. And it's like those things, even as you learn more about the music, don't lose the things that are yours, that make your music you. Because there are a lot of people who, you know, it's like you hear so many amazing people and you want to start replicating that, and it's like that's cool, but that's what they do, so it's already taken. You know what I mean? It's like find add to what you do, but don't lose it. Is the short version of that. Yes.
That's a fascinating thing that happened. I was from personal experience. I went to do you ever hear the Banff workshops up in Canada? It's like Dave Douglas, and it's sort of on that downtown 80s, 90s jazz sort of thing. It was centered around that.
Okay, no.
And then Vijay Iyer sort of started running it, and it sort of went in this very mathematical direction, which is an interesting thing in jazz. You know, it's like one thing I enjoyed about your playing as preference-wise is that it's very lyrical. And do you find how do you find your music fits into everything that's going around? Clearly you're maintaining a voice in it, which is great, and I love that. But I'm curious, it's like as you're it's funny, it's like you ever start saying a question and have no fucking clue like where you're going with it. I don't know. It was just something I noticed, and I was like, like how do you see your music fitting into all of that?
I feel like it's been going, I've had even, performing up there and just around as I've been, it's been received well. And I think that for me, it was a little bit of an adjustment. Just like I said, you get in one of those environments like New York where so many people are doing stuff, and it's like, man, this music's like, it's got energy, and there's a zillion notes and harmony and all of that stuff in it, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's like, if that is not how I can write something like that.
Yeah.
But if that's not how I'm hearing it and feeling it, then it's, if it's not genuine to me, it's not going to be received the same. I feel like if that's genuine to the person who's doing that, it's fine, because that's what they're feeling, and they're going to make it come off a certain way. So I think that I try to, like I said, really maintain what I do, and I'm fortunate that it have been received well. Yeah,
I believe that. The man, where I ask this of a lot of guests that we have here, because it's like, so we're sort of talking about how things are now. What is your vision going forward in terms of like, do you have projects you're looking to tackle, or is there a direction? It's weird because it's a pandemic, right? It's like we all had plans, and then 2 years ago happened. But I'm curious, it's like, are there things on that proverbial bucket list, musically, that you're looking to do, or that you're seeking, or are you really digging into the philosophy and trying to get into the Tao and or the Buddhist whatever? It's like,
I can't say bucket list things. I mean, like I said, I guess along with some of those lines, I have started to be in a place to where, I have plans, but I am very much in a place to where I'm going to go with the flow of where life is happening. You know what I mean? But as far as music, I do have some musical projects that I'm working on and writing for, or whatever. Like I said, I enjoy doing the instrumental thing, but like R&B and stuff, and I'm not necessarily gonna do an R&B thing, but I am gonna. The next thing I do probably will have just more vocals and stuff, some in it, just doing some more actual writing. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I'm just kind of like, stay the course and see and see what happens.
Yeah. When because this is something I wanted to ask when I was down in the audience, man. Are you writing, when you go into that process of writing, do you write for people? Like, are you thinking about like, oh, this guy that I play with a lot, or this gal that I play, or person, it's like would really play this thing well? Or are you sort of strictly thinking in sort of like the orchestral sense of writing?
A little bit of both. Sometimes you get, you're just writing and it's like, this is what I'm hearing for this. And sometimes you're writing and it's like, man, such and such will sound great on this. And you're kind of specifically writing that with a certain sound in mind, which is cool if hopefully you can get the person to do it, or someone who can, kind of get. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm definitely writing, I feel like I play with Desron and Bean a lot. So, and if I know that they're going to be the ones playing on a certain project, especially because nowadays it's like gigs are cool, but it's so much back and forth, things getting canceled, people being booked for other stuff that sometimes I don't know if I'm going to be able to get those guys on a specific gig. But like for a project, if we're going in the studio and I know, hey, Desron or whoever's going to be on that, then when I'm doing the writing, it's like sometimes it's like, oh man, he's going to play this, I know he's going to kill on this type of thing or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Man, I also asked this one because I'm curious, man. Let's go. You know what question I'm going to ask? Okay. I was asked, what was your first CD as a kid?
The first CD that I actually bought myself?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I think the first CD that I purchased myself was, what was that? DOC?
No.
Okay. He was like part of NWA and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I believe the record, you know what I'm talking about? Was it the Formula? Is that? Yeah. I believe that was the first record I bought myself.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that feel like I'm curious what that was like. Did that feel like a striking out moment to like get that?
It was, man. It was like a thing, man. I didn't have like I didn't have any of my own. Like my older brother, he had like tapes and all that stuff. So, but just getting that first is like, yeah, this is my CD. I ain't gonna let nobody listen, let nobody listen to my CD or whatever. But yeah, that was I do remember that was a moment for me. I went to, what was it called? I think they're like FYEs or something now.
Yeah.
But it was something before that. It
was before FYE.
Yes.
I feel like FYE is old.
Yeah, I know. Well, let me shut up because now you got, how old is this dude? But I can't remember what it was called before it was FYE.
It was like a legit chain.
Yeah, it was like the same thing, and I think FYE just took it over.
Huh. Was there something in more? Something in more? It's like Books and More or something like that. Is that a thing? I'm making that up. I'm totally. I'm improvising right now. I was so inspired. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Where was I going to go? I had another question loaded that I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. Damn, I don't know. Man, okay. So how about this? Your Knoxville experience before going to New York. What were the places where you were? And by the way, it's like this is as much informative for me as it is an interview for the world. So, just letting you know when I ask these questions, I'm just like, oh, I would really love to know, man. What was the scene like before you moved to New York? Where were the hangs? Where were people playing music? What was the social experience like for you?
One of the main places that was actually on and off, there was a few different things. Back in the day, it was called 4620, and it was really kind of a thing. But the most recent thing that it was called was Red Piano Lounge. And that, unfortunately, it closed. I think I left in 2017, and it closed immediately after I left, almost maybe a month or so after. But that was
That's quite an impact, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it because I left, but that's especially it's like it was jazz stuff, but then it's like soul and R&B stuff, and they have some different stuff. But there, Barley's, played there a whole lot over the years. Preservation Pub. What's the other spot that's next to the pub? Scruffy City, yeah.
Yeah, I run sound in there, both those. I just ran sound for your brother a couple days ago.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, right, he was there with Scruffy City. Man, I can't remember something. For a long time I was playing a gig at the Downtown Grill and Brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing a brunch gig, but they used to have like music there at nights, man. It was like a late gig. It was either from 10 to 1 or 11 to 2. It may have been like 11 to 2. It was like super for Knoxville. It was like it was super late to start a gig at 11. That was a thing, but it was like it wasn't the best place to play like musically because it was like hardwood floor playing right in front of a glass window. But a lot of people would come out though.
Yeah.
To it, so that was a pretty cool place. But yeah, probably the main places. I'll backtrack. Like Barley's. That was always a good hang. Be it jazz or I'm saying used to. We still play from time to time with this group called After Party. It's more kind of a party band type thing, but we play at Barley's all the time, and it's definitely a thing, man.
Yeah.
The bistro at the Bijou.
Oh right, yeah, the bistro. To throw it out there, actually, my wife who's here with me, she's playing at the bistro tomorrow night. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So. But
and she's a
vocalist.
Oh,
and
cool.
She doesn't like me telling people she's actually an amazing alto saxophonist as well, but primarily a vocalist. So,
dude, you scored there.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. She's gonna be like, man, you went and said that in front of everybody. But hey, I'll take it.
Yeah. Did you guys collaborate at all?
She's like some of the she's not like playing as much anymore, but on my. She's singing some of the backgrounds on this record, but on my last record, she also sang some too. And we do different stuff from time to time. The band I was telling you about, After Party, she plays horn in that, and also sings some as well. But so yeah, we've done some different stuff.
Oh, cool.
Here and there.
Is she from here?
She's originally from Memphis.
Yeah,
but we met here at the University of Tennessee. So
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, dope. That's awesome. And yeah,
Camelot music.
Thank you.
Was that it?
Yes. Yes, Camelot.
Wait, was that like a local chain or was it like a?
No, it was I think it was like the same thing as FYE, but yeah. I
don't know. We didn't have those up in Pennsylvania, rural Pennsylvania.
Yeah, man. Camelot music, man. I when I was here for a long time, I was working at Circuit City, man. So that was
dude, Circuit City.
Yeah, man.
Oh my gosh. I haven't thought about that place in a long time. Wait, so you were working there like before you moved?
This was years. Yeah, a number of years before I moved. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the last time I was at a Circuit City.
Yeah.
It was probably to get an adapter, probably get a tape adapter for my portable CD player.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I said something about Blockbuster the other day, and then I looked over at one of the younger guys in the class. I said, "So Blockbuster."
Right. Yeah, man. It's funny, man. I've been going off on that tangent, but I went like to Target or something to get like a headphone adapter, like to make it from what is like the 3.5, whatever it is, to the larger one. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, I need an adapter for this. He's like, for some headphones? I was like, yeah, for my headphones to put. Are they like some? They're not wireless. No, it has a cable on it. This is a regular thing, man. It's like just totally oblivious. Like it's not that big of a deal, man. You either got it or you don't, man. But he's just so dumbfounded by what I was asking him, man.
It's weird. But I'm in my mid-30s. I'll be a gentleman. I won't ask. Mm. But I'll just say that I'm
in my later 30s.
Okay, there we go. I was hoping you would say that. It makes this process a lot easier. It is a funny thing to be having grown up when we did and then seen, when I was a kid, we had a computer room, and you went in with the white computer, and you got on and the internet made this horrible noise, and there's people that are adults now that are legally allowed to drink that have never experienced a world where they had to like plug in headphones.
Right.
Yeah,
man. It's crazy, man.
It's bizarre. Do you that's what those philosophy books are for. They help you, take all it in. Who's the man, what philosophy books are you digging? Or what sort of philosophy stuff are you drawn toward?
I'm going to mess up the guy's name if I try to say it, but there's the most recent book I read was called Think on These Things, and it's Krishna. I'm not gonna try to say it.
Krishnamurti.
Thank
That
you.
dude? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the most recent things that I read. Yeah, man. It's
Yeah. I never actually read it.
Okay.
I my thesis was on Coltrane in college. So I
Okay.
did a lot of like, what was Coltrane into? And then I like pretended that I read the books, to finish my thesis. And, but
Yeah. Man. It's actually this bassist in New York that I play with quite a bit. He's turned me on to some of that stuff, man. And it's interesting, man. Like I said, just broadening. I feel like you can keep your core beliefs, whatever it is, but there's always nothing wrong with just broadening your mind and just having. Because at the end of the day, all it does is give you more understanding for what someone else may be or going through or why they may do this or the other, and you don't have to be as harsh or judgmental about it. Okay, it's like, hey, you can still think that it's stupid, but you can go on about your business from there too. I mean, that's the main thing. Like,
dude,
that's how I try to live my life. Like, I might not agree with what you're doing for me, but does you doing it affect me?
Yeah, exactly. It's like if it doesn't have a direct effect on my life, I don't really have to address you about it.
Yeah, man.
One thing I'm curious about, I know when you were here at Pellessippi, I know you attended here and you taught here for a while.
Yeah.
Mr. Manis and Goldman were discussing that you took some of the Pro Tools classes here.
I did.
Okay, so
yeah.
How much of the audio world do you consider when you're writing your music and you're like playing, you're picking a venue or something? I made me think of it when we were talking about headphones, because people use Bluetooth headphones and all this stuff, and the convenience. A lot of times you lose quality.
Right.
With the old headphones where you plug them in, you actually get better sound out of them instead of these crappy ones that everybody walks around with most of the time. So I'm just curious on how much you consider that.
I would say, unfortunately, not as much as I would like to be aware of. It's one of them things that I feel like because I did, take some of those classes because I was really trying to get more into. I've always appreciated people who could like mix well and get a good sound, but for whatever reason, it's like, especially talking about some of that stuff, is just like for them. It's like I can record. I do a lot of recording and overdubs and stuff for my own records or whatever. But and that was another thing, man. I was thinking, man, I'm sure spending a lot of money on some of these mixes. So let me at least get the ball rolling there. It's not like I'm going to be doing this tomorrow, but, down the line, I can say, mixing, or even if it's just, sometimes you have to do those edits and stuff before you go to the mix. You say, I'll pay for the mix, but at least I can get the edits and stuff out the way myself. So, I'm just trying to get more into that thing. And unfortunately, over the last year or so, some of that has fallen away from me, just as far as really trying to be in it, man. So I would say,
I'm curious because I know there's some artists that their sound is everything to them. So as far as they're playing, like, I want this microphone, and I want you to EQ the room this way. Like I do some audio at Channel 6 News, and there was this violinist that came in, and she handed a piece of paper. She's like, "This is the EQ curve I want you to put on my violin."
Oh wow!
Like, so I just didn't know if I know you'd taken some of those classes. I didn't know if you considered some of that stuff when you were.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, not that deep, man. Unfortunately, but I mean, for me, the main thing, like even with the piano, I'm always just like make it sound like a piano, which is always weird, especially with the piano, because it's like as soon as you put a mics on it, it changes. The best. I mean, you can get it there, but so much of the sound is right there. What it is, man. So
it's such a different experience for you on stage as it is, out in the audience in that instance.
Yeah, well, I mean, on stage, I always try to, if I can, know as much of little as anything as possible, because it changes so much, and it's like you go to play a note, and it doesn't. You're playing it a certain way, but what you're hearing does not sound like what it should sound like. So it's like that millisecond just kind of slows you down and distracts you for a second. You know what I mean? So So yeah, as much as possible, I just try to hear the piano on the stage as much as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're getting to the end of this thing. Man, where are we sending people to check out your music?
My website is keithbrownpiano.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can go there and check it out. You can order physical CDs if you happen to possess something to play it on, or if you just want to support and buy yourself a nice coaster.
Frisbee, a poor not a good frisbee.
That's what Nick says about his when he's doing a gig.
Yeah.
He says, if you guys need a coaster, I've got some CDs.
Yeah, man.
Or if you have a bird feeder at home and you need to scare the squirrels away. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of uses for these things.
Yeah, man. So don't limit yourself.
That's that improvisational spirit coming in. It's like.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, fair where it goes. Well, dude, man, it has been great. Thank you so much. It's always I appreciate you doing this after the concert. I know how exhausting those can be, especially
no problem. When
you're in it.
Yeah.
Man. So great, folks. Check his music out. We need to do thanks again. We need to do a thank to Raven Records and Rarities, and we need to thank here Pellessippi for giving us this great spot to use for tonight. And we need to thank Hutch and Howard Realty of Keller Williams and Keith Brown.
Hey, thank you.
Keith Brown, the man.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks so much, folks. I'm Nick Horner. Catch us again next month. Thank you.